Hi guys, welcome back to the Stitchy Corner with me, Miss Mel, and it is time for my long-awaited month, February, March, April, 3-month overdue, 3-month catch-up whip progress. Yay! And as I'm sitting here realizing I'm going to have to get up and do some moving to grab some stuff because I have like stuff on display that I need to have over here, and it's right over there on display. So you'll all just have to excuse it when I get up and turn my big butt to the camera. So let's get started. I have my book. Going to get ready to dive right in. Okay, so let's start with February. And most of all that, I'm going to need to go grab. Okay. I'm going to pause the video here. I will be right back. I got to go grab the FFOs that I did in February. Okay, guys, I'm back. Now let's get down to this. Okay, so in February, I did a lot more finishings, like FFOings, than I actually did stitching. I did start a new project in February, and it is Mount Kutha by Dinky Dyes, stitched with the Dinky Dyes thread pack. It is on the 28 count Carolina linen in salt. I think that's a color. You think it's called salt or sand? In sand. Yep, sand. And that's the start I made. This one right now is in the active whip bucket because I'm not currently having it in rotation, but it is one I plan to get to soon. And then next I did is I went on a finishing binge, and I mean binge in February. I finished this pillow. This is an FFO. Pretty, isn't it? Woo! All the items used to make this pillow, except for the stitching was mine. This is a finish I think I did either last year or the year before. It says, from ghoulies and ghosties and long-legged beasties and all things that go bump in the night, dear Lord, deliver us, Robert Burns. It's a prayer that Robert Burns wrote, the Scottish prayer. The ghosts, glow in the dark. I stitched them in glow-in-the-dark fabric. All the fabrics, and including the polyfill and the piping, were all bought at Joann, where I work. I did a triple sashing border on the front, so green, orange, black. I mitered all the corners so they all line up. I did a purple piping, and then on the back I did a witch cameo. This was a lot of fun. And yes, I know I'm looking above the camera. It's because I'm making sure I'm still in focus and in frame. I can speak. So there's that piece. That was an FFO that month. And then I stitched and FFO'd. It's in here somewhere. It's tiny. It likes to hide. It's very, very tiny. It's a Biscornu pattern that I found online. I will put the link down in the description box. This is a Biscornu pattern. I found online, and I stitched it in one of the DMC variations, and I don't remember the number, but it's the purple, and it's the really bright purple and pink one. I nicknamed it the My Little Pony Biscornu because it reminded me of a My Little Pony. So there's the front, there's the back, there's the beaded edge. I did a beaded edge when I made it because there was beads that were added on the front. So this was my first Biscornu. Isn't he cute? So that was in February. And then in February also, another stitcher from over at Cross Stitch It's Fun, she's actually in the Mod Squad, Quarry, made a layover in Minnesota. She went to go visit another Mod Squad member, Netta, down in Florida. And on her way back to Alberta, she had a layover in Minnesota, so we got together. We did, I call it the Quarry flyby. I picked her up from the airport. We went to my local stitching store, which is Stitchville, USA, here in the Twin Cities. And we had a great time. And one of the And she bought me a couple things at the store, which is a gift, and it was incredibly generous of her. And we had such a good time. And one of the things that was purchased during this trip was a zipper kit. And I know a lot of you will recognize this pattern. I know that Jelsicles Forever did this. It's the sheep. I call it sheep stack. I can't remember what I think it is called sheep stack, but there it is. And it's stitched on 18 count linen over 2, so it's like a 9 count Aida. And you stitch it with number 5 pearl cottons. I had a fun time. This stitched up so quick, and when I saw the shape of it, I knew exactly how I wanted to finish it. So it's a no-sew cube finish, but I made it in the shape of a little tombstone. And here, you guys see this. So I piped it again. So it's got a marigold piping. The fabric you'll see better from the back. Isn't that just perfect for it? And then I did a little twine ribbon around it. And then I did little beady feet, like tiny little seed bead feet. So it just sits there. So that was in February. That was a finish and an FFO in February. Start, finish, and FFO in February. Wow. Well, the same thing with the My Little Pony Viscornu was a start, finish, and FFO in 1 month. And then what I did is I finished March Cottage in February. So I finished the stitching of March Cottage in February. And then, so that was my February. And now we're going to move into March. This got FFO'd. Did you get FFO'd in March? When did you get FFO'd? Yep. And then I FFO'd this in March. It's finished just like how all my other cottages are going to be. The girls are going to be in a little bit more saturated colors of fabric, where the cottages I'm going to keep light and airy because of the way their color palettes came out. Now, the one thing I can say about this is so far right now is my favorite cottage. I've only stitched 2. This is my favorite cottage. It is so juicy. When I started stitching with these pink grapefruit color and these greens, and then you put the brown in the windows and you put the little lines over it, reminded me of a brownie. And then it just made me go, this is so juicy. This is like grapefruit, like you're drinking a big glass of pink lemonade and eating brownies. This is just so juicy, and that's what I love about it. And also, I love sheep. So there's that one. It has the night, and then the ribbon I got for this one is a little bit thinner than the one I had in February. I'll remind you how wide February's ribbon was. You can kind of see it there. I'm going organza ribbons because, like I said, I want to keep everything light and airy, including the bows. Now, when I made this bow to go on top of here, it looks like frothy sea foam. It's so cool. I did a lime piping. I did a damask in celery green. This is a buttercream fabric of the buttercream collections at Joann.com, at Joann Fabrics. Once again, all of this except for the beads up on top here, I'll tell you, came exclusively from Joann's, including the fabric I stitched it on. So there's that. I put pearl feet on the bottom. Yes, I'm doing big pearls. Ooh, I have a foot falling out. I'm going to have to glue you. There we go. Pearl feet on the bottoms, and then I also put a green seed bead at the end of the pearl to kind of help keep the pin in. And then, yep, and then its accent stick. Let's see if I can get that to go in. There we go. Okay, now you can see it. Come here. It's a glass leaf bead with a green bead with a pink center. I just saw those and went, oh, perfect, gotta have them. Those came from Hobby Lobby, but the rest of the materials for this came from Joann's. So there was that one. get these all to lay in here nicely. Which foot is this? I think that one. Okay, I have to figure out. Okay. And then I FFO'd. I think I showed you guys that I finished her in January. I could have sworn it was January. Nope. I finished and FFO'd her. I stitched her, finished her. Blech. Let's try that again, shall we? I started her, finished her, and FFO'd her all in March. And I do have to give credit where credit is due. This fabric I chose for it was not a color family I would have gone to. I was trying to find more of this darker blue, right here. It's within the 900s, in the 930 family of DMC, and it's a really odd blue. It's like a grayish blue, and it was really hard to find the right tone of fabric, and I was searching, and my friend Quarry told me to step out of the blues and go more over to the grays when I was looking at fabrics, and thanks to her I was able to find this one, and it was perfect, and it worked perfectly. But once again, she is finished as a flat ornament that will sit up on an easel when it's that month. So that was done in March. And then I FFO'd another biscornu. And what I did is a long time ago, well, not very long, well, okay, years ago, Alex was still a little kid. I had started stitching the Teresa Wensler Byzantine Christmas ornaments. And I was just stitching them because I wanted a small thing that I could keep in the diaper bag and have on the go with me. And when I joined the hubby's family, I noticed that his family really loved handmade gifts. And so I was finishing up these ornaments, and I'll include a picture of them because I have a picture of what they all look like. I'll put a picture in here and you'll see them, and they're an amazing ornament set. And I finished all the circular ones as a hoop finish, so my mother-in-law could hang them on her Christmas tree. Well, there were two that were kind of squarish in shape, and I couldn't get them to look right in a hoop finish, and so I didn't gift those to her right away. I was like, I need to come up with something. I need to figure out something else. Well, they're kind of small, so it's really hard to find a small square frame, and when you do, it's just hard to frame stuff that in a square frame that tiny with all the technical work that goes into framing. Well, after I made the My Little Pony biscornu, I was like, I really like making a biscornu. And I remembered I had those, and so what I did is I finished them both in one biscornu. So it's the Teresa Wensler, what I'm calling the Teresa Wensler Byzantine biscornu. I gifted it to my mother-in-law already. We took her out early on a Sunday for brunch, and I gifted it to her for Mother's Day. She loved it. But I will include a picture of it here. And that was another FFO I did. It's not stuffed with walnut shells. Oh, the My Little Pony biscornu is not stuffed with walnut shells. That's just stuffed with fiberfill, as well as the Teresa Wensler biscornu is fiberfill. The reason why that one, because it's big, oh my god, that thing was big, is filled with fiberfill is because it's an ornament. So I didn't want it too heavy. It wasn't going to have pins in it. The My Little Pony, My Little Pony biscornu, say that 5 times fast. It was my first biscornu. I didn't have any walnut shells at the time when I made it, so I just stuffed it with fiberfill. I do now have walnut shells. Okay. Side note, left turn signal. Woo-oo, woo-oo. If you are looking for crushed English walnut shells, go to your pet store. I went to our Petco. Trust me on this. Go to your pet store. I went to our local Petco, and I was able to get a 5-quart bag, 5-quart dry weight bag for the same price as I would have paid for like 4 ounces at the Stitch store. Go figure. So yeah, you'll get a huge bag of it, and you'll have enough crushed English walnut shells to last you a lifetime. but you have enough crushed English walnut shells to last you a lifetime. Check out other locations to find supplies like that, like your pet store. The reason why pet stores carry it, it's a substrate for reptile cages. Who knew? Okay, and then what I also finished is, I think you guys remember when I showed you a finish of one of the Mary Englebright teapots? Well, that was the number 4 one I finished. So I had 4 Mary Englebright teapots to finish, and they were on little scraps of fabric. Once again, this is before I learned how to leave proper margin. And so they became, see if I can get all 4 of them here. You guys probably saw these on my Instagram. Tuck pillows, bowl fillers, whatever you want to call them. So here's this one. It's got, you know, I did this one in black and white. I didn't want to throw in any other color because it's so colorful and it has such strong red rim, and I didn't want to pull away from that. So that one is a black and white. And this is black and red because the red fabric I had just worked so lovely with the cherries on this teapot. So there's that one. And then this one I did in blues and yellows. And it's the same yellow fabric that I used in the sheep. Because it worked. So there's that one. And it has the blue on the back. The blue, it has a tonal. It's a tone-on-tone and it's heart squiggles. All fabrics, once again, came from Joann Fabrics. Except for one of these fabrics. One of these fabrics is a very old fabric that I had in my stash since my child was tiny, and I got it at Walmart. Back when Walmart had a fabric department. Remember that? Yeah. So, and here's this one. This one has a dark orange and plaid, yellow plaid and orange front, and then on the back it has a light orange back. And this is the fabric that came out of my stash way back in the day from Walmart. Yep. So there, those 4 are now finished. As you can see, my finishes bucket kind of shrunk because all I have in there now is stuff that I might make into a cushion or definitely stuff that I want to get framed, and we all know how expensive framing is. I really know because, well, I'm a framer. And then what else I finished in March was my very first client finish. It was a scissor fob. I'm going to insert a picture of it here. Isn't that cute? I apologize for anyone who is offended by the sentiment, but I thought it was funny. And then also in March, I believe it was March. It could have been March or April, but for some reason I have March, that I did the Heaven and Earth Challenge number 1. And what that was you had to stitch 1,000 stitches in 10 by 10 squares on a diagonal, and I used Middle Earth map. So there's challenge 1, and I completed challenge 1 and got the reward chart for that. And then I started in March on my froggy biscornu. I haven't touched him in a while, so he sits in my active whips, but he'll be another biscornu, and he's so cute. He's froggies. I got buttons for the center on one side. I think this side will have a flower and the other side will have a bee. So very, very cute. It's froggies on one side and a flower on the other, and there's also bees in between the froggies. This is so cute. Christy with a K here on FlossTube pointing me in the right direction for this freebie pattern. Thank you, Christy. Perfect. Love it. It's going to look cute once I finish it. And I'm going to fill this one with the English walnut shells so I can use it as a pin cushion, and it will be with my stitching supplies, because what better way to keep the frog away than a froggy biscornu? So there's that. And then, okay, so now we're going to start getting into the crossover between March and April. Ugh. This video is getting long. Sorry about this, guys. Now, in March, I worked some more on, and you guys saw, if you followed me on Instagram, you saw the progress photos of it. I worked some more on Enchanted Mermaid. This is April, this is March and April progress on the Enchanted Mermaid. Oh God, look at her. She's gorgeous. See how big she is? I mean, she's about the size of my hand now. So there you go. All this open area, that's all beadwork. I'm waiting for her bits and bobs order. We're not going to talk about that today. So there she is. I've actually finished a color on her. I finished a sparkly color. I finished one of the Crinics. The lime green, citron green Crinic I finished on her. And then in April, I believe it was April, yep, Michelle announced Heaven and Earth Challenge number 2, which is to cross-country an entire page, cross-country stitch an entire page. So I once again reached for Middle Earth map, and as of now, there's my progress. I think that's like 17. I think I'm almost at 10 colors. So there we go. I'm trying to save the main background colors till last, so they kind of like lock in all my running, how far I've had to carry stitches on the back. So there's that. And then also in April is when I started my whips in rotation. And how whips in rotation works is I have about 8 that are in regular rotation. Outside of all my Mania starts, I have 8 whips. And so what I am doing is when I sit down to stitch is I set a timer for an hour. And I will work on that whip for 1 hour, put it aside, grab another one, work on it for an hour. And that lets me know that I have worked, if I get through all my whips in that day, it's a minimum of 8 hours. And if I don't get through all my whips in that one day, that's fine too. So my whips in rotation, let me go, are Halloween Fairy by Nora Corbett, Celtic Christmas by Lavender and Lace, Needle Workshop by Country Cottage's Needleswork, Super Secret Ninja Squirrel Project by Lavender and Lace, Ian's Christmas Stocking, Mini Vanity, Enchanted Mermaid, and Lord of the Rings map. Yeah, that's 8. Is that 8? 6, 7, 8. That's 8. And as I finish one or I get one to a stage where I have to put it on hold, I will rotate in a new whip. So let's get to status of whips. Let's start with what is my morning project that you guys have been seeing in my vlog is Halloween Fairy by Nora Corbett, also known as Trick or Treat. I have all the DMC stitching done on her. She is now an on-hold project. I can't finish some of the back stitching because I gotta wait for the Crinics and the beads to get here because there is some back stitching with DMC over Crinics. So there she is. Let's do a quick. This fabric is one of those icky MCG textile linens, but I made it work. I hand dyed it. I ice dyed with black, so she looks really cool, very Halloween-y. So that's her. So like I said, now she goes on hold. She'll still stay in this basket with the whirs, but she goes on hold because now I gotta wait for supplies. Yep, gotta wait for supplies. So I will now rotate in a new project, and I don't know. I'll have to sit and think about which project will get rotated in. And then I started in March and continued working on in April is Celtic Christmas. I don't have a lot done on her. This is a big project that I'm working on with Wonderfully Hopeless, or also known as Charity over at Cross Stitch It's Fun. We have decided we're going to do all the Celtic ladies and the seasons, so summer, spring, fall, winter, we're doing with a great big conversion. We're actually going to have a planning day where we sit down and she may have to come visit me, which is a long trip. Sorry about that. I had to give my camera a little break. Like I said, we're planning to do all the Celtic ladies. We decided to start with Christmas because Christmas is the one we're not going to convert. So that's how far I've gotten. This is being stitched on Charles Craft 28 count Irish linen. I'm doing the skin 1/1. So there's that one. Next is Needle Workshop by Country Cottage Needleworks. And there's the status of that one. Now order I'm showing you them in is not the order I necessarily work on them. I work on whatever I feel like I want to, and I grab out of the basket. Next is the super secret Ninja Squirrel project. I can't show you the progress on that one because it is a super secret Ninja Squirrel project. When I finish it and it is in the person's hand that it is a gift for, then I can show you it. I will make a progress video of it. I've taken some pictures, and as I work more on it, as it grows more, I'll take pictures, and I'll do a progress and completion video on it so you guys can at that time finally find out what the super secret Ninja Squirrel project is. Next is my son's Christmas stocking. It's getting quite along. I almost have it finished. There's that one. And then next is mini vanity, which is right now just great big purple blobs. Blob, blob. And then Enchanted Mermaid, which I already showed you the progress of. And then the Lord of the Rings map, which I already showed you the progress of. So, that was my April for whips. For finishes in April, when I was going through my whip buckets, I discovered a whip in the bottom of my whip bucket that all it needed was backstitching. And a little bit of it at that. I was like, why did I not finish this right away? So here it is. It's from the Leisure Arts leaflet of holiday fingertip towels. It's the Santas. This will be going to my sister-in-law for her to complete the set that I gifted her a while ago. At the same time I gifted my mother-in-law the ornaments, I started gifting her the holiday fingertip towels. So that will be going to her. So that was a finish. And it's also an FFO because it was on a fingertip towel, which is a stitchable. And then I also had another FFO. I have another FFO in here. I did not write down when I FFO'd it. Uh-oh. I think it was done in March. Yeah, it was done in March. Okay, so backtrack to March. I FFO'd this little guy. My husband is part Scottish, and I have the Gaelic word here for cheers, which is slacha. I think he knows how to pronounce it. I don't. This I stitched for him. I finished it as a flat fold. Isn't that lovely? And I just have to put the trims on it, and then this is for the holiday around March. St. Patrick's Day we set this up. Yes, Scottish still celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But we're not Irish, we're still Scottish. And then I FFO'd a Mill Hill kit that I got from Quarry when her and Poppy and Charity all went to a stitching show in St. Louis last year. And they're going, I know Charity's going again this year. Quarry might go this year to it. They went to the open market. And she got me this little Mill Hill kit. It's owls in ugly Christmas sweaters. I love it. I love owls. I love ugly Christmas sweaters. Owls in ugly Christmas sweaters? Perfect. So I FFO'd it into a little hanging sign to hang up around Christmas time. I found this sign in my unfinished woods department at my store. I painted it navy and just added, switched the knots for the twine hanger it came with to the front, and then added a twine around the stitching into a little lazy bow. See, finishes don't have to be elaborate. That didn't take long at all. That took me like maybe an hour and a half. I was waiting for paint to dry. And that's it. That brings us up to date. Yay! We're done. Sorry, this video is going to be a long one. I had 3 months to catch you guys up on. But there we go. We made it. Yay! And I will not let 3 months pass again. I will make sure that I keep on track now because I'm getting organized. So until... oh, God. I've almost talked myself hoarse. So until next time, guys, happy stitches. Keep those needles moving. Bye.